Welcome to northern Sweden. It can be pretty extreme here, but I'm here for the wildlife. My name is Danny. I'm a wildlife photographer. Join me for another week of extreme temperatures, nature, and cozy home life. I've come to the squirrel forest today, and I thought I'd share an update of what's been going on here, because I actually haven't taken any photos here, which is quite crazy. It feels like spring today. A lot of snow is melting from the trees and I keep thinking it's a squirrel jumping. A couple of weeks ago I put a squirrel feeder in the forest, and it's basically a wooden box with a roof, and the squirrels can lift it up and access the food. Because there are so many bullfinches and great tits, and in the night the deer eat all the food that I leave, and in the day the birds eat all the food, so it's actually quite tricky to get squirrels here. Yesterday I was working from my office and something had spooked the birds, and I could see the bullfinches went quite fast alongside my window. A few weeks ago I put up pine cones to deter them from flying into the window, because the windows are just really reflective. There was one panel that didn't have either string or a pine cone, and one of the bullfinches went straight into it, and I immediately ran out and picked it up, and it looked pretty lifeless, but I could feel its heart and I could feel it breathing. And I brought it inside, I put it in a cardboard box with a towel on top, and I was just hoping that a bit of warmth and a dark space would help it. A few hours later I went to check on her, and on my fingertips I felt something. Maybe it was her last breath. I was really annoyed with myself because I had put up pine cones on the windows to prevent this from happening, and it still happened. Obviously it's not really my fault. Like, the bird feeder wasn't right next to the window, it was just an accident, but it still hurts. And the whole evening I was really annoyed because I felt I hadn't done enough to protect nature, and it reminded me of a film that I watched maybe 10 years ago, but only a few years ago I actually understood the message of the film. It's called The Fox and the Child, and you basically follow this story of a really young girl. She's around 10 probably. She befriends a fox and they play together. She watches him hunt. It's just a beautiful connection between human and nature. And then one day the fox follows the girl to her home and she invites it in, and at first you see the fox just curious and looking at everything. She wants to show the fox her toys and her bedroom. Then it begins to panic because it's an enclosed space. It has no escape route. The fox starts thrashing himself against the window, just trying to get out and trying to escape. In the end, he breaks the window, he falls out of the house, he is hurt. As a viewer, you feel very uncomfortable because you followed this beautiful story of this wild animal trusting a human. For years I kept thinking about it because I just didn't understand why they would build up this beautiful relationship and then just ruin it like that. By the way, spoiler, the fox survives. The girl and the fox are still friendly, but she spends less time with it, and I think eventually they go their separate ways. And just a few years ago, I was in this forest with the baby squirrels, and I was surrounded by these beautiful little animals that responded to me. I could whistle for them or call them, and it's just amazing to be able to have individual animals that know you. But a few years ago, I just decided to have a boundary with wildlife, and I will never touch or hand feed a wild animal. And I think that boundary just limits the risk of something bad happening. And now I understand the message of that film so much. It's amazing to have a connection with an individual animal, but I think it's so important that we remind ourselves that they are wild and have some boundaries that will keep them wild and safe. And for the little bullfinch, it was just a sad, unfortunate accident and a reminder that animals don't perceive the world like we do, and that I need to put up more pom-poms or stickers on the windows, so hopefully it never happens again. Today we've driven several hours north to meet Frederic. This winter he's been photographing otters in snow, and today he's invited us to join him. We pretty much didn't see anything all day except this dipper. But here is some of Frederic's footage. We then went to this cabin and had a cozy lunch. I've come back to the squirrel forest this morning and I've already seen 3 red squirrels doing a mating chase, so that's great news. I think next week I'm going to try and come here at 7 o'clock every day, and hopefully by the end of that week they're more comfortable with me, because I literally haven't seen these squirrels since the summer. I might even leave my jacket so they can get comfortable with my jacket. I might put up a tent. I'm not sure yet. Yesterday I had the most amazing 2 hours with a squirrel called Fika, and I've known her since she was 3 months old, and I left a load of hazelnuts and she was super busy caching them all, and I think I got around 2,000 photos, and I've put the photos of Fika on a blog on my website, and I'd like to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. I've been using Squarespace for many years now. I run my shop on my Squarespace website. My target for this year is every time I get good photos, I'm going to make a blog post on my website. It was super easy to add photos, some text, and it literally took me 10 minutes, and the end result is a really sleek looking blog, and it's a great place to display my photography. If you'd like to give Squarespace a go, head to squarespace.com/daniconnorwild and you can save 10% off a new purchase of a website or domain. There's this tree with these amazing fallen branches, and I'd love to get the squirrels running on them with the snow. So I put up a peanut feeder, and I think I'm going to make a tray for hazelnuts and put it somewhere. We'll see. There's even some cool mushrooms. Tonight I'm making probably Sweden's most famous dish, which is meatballs and mashed potato, but not quite traditional because I'm making it vegan. And Juan bought some wine, so fun times. Okay, I'm gonna run. Wow, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Really bright on the right. Wow. Ooh. Yes. Whoa. Some cool shapes forming there. Look. Wow. Woohoo! Look at that. Whoa. What the? It's purple. Oh my word. What? Wow.
Look at that bit.
Wow. And that was it. That was epic. It just exploded.
Yeah.